Hey guys, so I decided I wanted to talk about Vox this time, and that's who I'm going to be drawing. This is one of my older OCs, probably one of my oldest, actually. So I guess I should explain what he is to give you guys a better idea. So this is a Vox. He is a king. He is a Qatar, which is a made-up species that I had when I was younger, and I made it up specifically because I was doodling him and I couldn't draw very well, and I looked at the doodle and I was like, well, that's not an animal that exists in real life, but I'm here for it. And so Vox was born. He has the rank of a king in the story that he is currently in. He has a couple issues. He's generally kind of a grump, and he has a bit of sailor's mouth, but he is just kind of, but there is something in there. He has a heart somewhere deep in there. He was originally a main antagonist in the book series that I am writing. His role in the series has changed since then. Even though he is still a main character, his status as an antagonist is a little different. He is the best friend to one of the other main characters, Venom, who is still kicking around. If you'll look at some of my past videos, he was in a lot of my past videos. He is one of my favorite characters I've ever created. I have a plush of him right behind me, actually. And yeah, as you can see, as his design, honestly, in the past couple of years hasn't changed much. It's less of his design and more the better I get at drawing what is in my head, he starts to look different. He's also just gotten a lot bigger, just in proportions compared to the other characters. And that's okay for me. One of these days he's just gonna end up being as big as a planet or something. He's just gonna be just like an asteroid coming. But yeah, now I used to say that he was around the size of like a rhino. Now that's like the average size for his species, but he's more on the side of like an elephant, so we're talking really, really big. His physical features are kind of based on like the foo dogs, or aka the lions in front of like imperial gardens in China. So I kind of wanted to he's a very like big, imposing. A lot of his design and the way that I draw him now matters about it. Like, I really want to focus on showing how much he weighs, because he's like over 2 tons, he's huge, and that's kind of like so the bigger he looks, the better. And a lot of people got confused because I just could not draw as a kid, that he was like some sort of dog or like wolf. He is not. He originally actually had hooves because he was based off of kind of an ox, like more of like an osk type, but I got rid of those because I just like his feetsies. I think they're cute as like little pads, even though you can't see them on the SpeedPaint. So he's definitely more closer to like a saber cat mixed with an ox, kind of a seal looking face. It's very hard to explain like creatures that don't exist because they have parts of the body that don't really he has a lot of components of like real animals, but like mixed together it kind of just becomes its own thing, and it's kind of hard to describe. Yeah, he's great. I love him. I'm still kind of rambling. His personality since the first episode that you've seen, he's still kind of a grump. Not as intense, I would say, as the first episode showed. That first episode, when I made that, he was still considered like a big antagonist, kind of a villain. So he's definitely not that anymore. He's a more, like, I guess Ron Swanson, like, I'd guess. Like, he's not trying to be hostile towards anyone's, but he also will not put up with any bullcrap kind of person. He just kind of wants to be left alone, and that's that. But he can't really do that because he's the king of an entire country, and so he's got to put up with a lot of bull, as it were. As you can see, I'm still developing the series. I'm pretty sure I've had Vox's personality now kind of just down to a science. I can write him pretty good, and he's definitely one of my favorite characters to write. It's more or less that, like, it's other aspects of the series that I gotta get down, but he's definitely one of the more complete pieces. of the Sanity series as a whole. He's definitely kind of one of my babies. Heck, he's got like some of my favorite parts of like designs just in him. He's a gold and red creature, which is like my favorite color combination, one of my favorite color combinations. He's got this really big, intimidating monster that's just could like crush you if he just stepped on you, but he's also just extremely kind of just chunky and just kind of chubby. And so I wanted to show like how he could be perceived as kind of like this big, huge, like intimidating creature, but also like to others he just kind of looks like a big soft teddy bear. Those are kind of the two ways that he's perceived throughout the series, as like his enemies and like people kind of see him as this really big, kind of angry, just kind of drunk, like just kind of bumbling idiot, and but his people, the guitars that he rules under, kind of sees him as this like very big, kind of like lion, very majestic, kind of just this nice old bear that just kind of like helps everybody out and is just a swell boy. Whichever one you want to take him as is up to you. Yeah. So this picture I had drawn like the top half of Vox. You'll start to notice in my speed paints that I never like do line art, and I'm not like tracing, don't worry about that, but like what I do now is I actually ink all of my lines traditionally, and then I scan them in. My friend showed me how to do that, and honestly I just kind of like the look a little better for my art. I think it works a lot better, and considering that I'm not using a tablet currently, I think it just looks a lot better. My only exception to that is with lineless pieces, but most of my art has lines, so you probably won't see a lot of that. So this is kind of his top half. He still has the horns, everything's still kind of the same. I just draw him a little bit better so he looks more like what he's supposed to and not like a weird misshapen dog or like a pig. And honestly, I think his design is pretty cool. I think it's pretty iconic personally, but if you ever like asked me how to like create like original like creatures and stuff, to be perfectly honest, it's just kind of a wild card for me, because most of like stuff like that where I just kind of recreate random things turn out really horribly. Vox was just kind of a doodle that I just kind of threw at the wall and it just kind of stuck, so you know, I think I'm not the best at when it comes to creature designs. He's just one of the few that kind of got lucky. Like for example, like Katos, they're just dogs with ram horns. There's another species from my book. I mean, they got long tails, it's kind of cool, but it's literally just a dog, like, it's nothing special. And I feel like in some ways I probably should, you know, change them a little bit, make them a little better, but the thing about Katos is that kind of wolf aspect of them is very, symbolically and metaphorically important to them as just like a species as a whole. So I've just decided to keep it, and so I'm gonna wrap up talking here because I think I've kind of exhausted what I want to say about him without giving too many spoilers away, so just enjoy the rest of the speed paint and I'll see you later.